Hello everybody and welcome to a first look and review at the new, and apologies for the pronunciation, Semmeringbahn DLC for Train Sim World 4. Another Austrian DLC, which is always good. Just before we jump in, I have got to tell you that all the views and opinions expressed within this video are solely my own and may not reflect those of any companies I may be employed by or associated with. Also, Dovetail Games have given me the key for this route completely free of charge, however they do have no editorial control over the content and everything I tell you will be my own. So, before we jump in and get driving, let's have a quick look and see what we get with this route. So loading up Semmeringbahn from the main menu, you can see we get the standard 5 scenarios that we've come to expect from most routes these days. I'll let you pause the video and have a little look at the descriptions on those if you want to. We also get the timetable mode, of course, and the two trains that are provided with this route are the OBB 116, which is the Taurus, aka the singing train, and the I forget what this one's called, but the 4024, which was featured as part of the Vorarlberg DLC. But you do get both of these trains with it. If you've got the Vectron, that will layer onto it. And there's also a British Rail Class 47 from the Blackpool Branches Rail Tour on here. Because, believe it or not, they did run for a while on this route. Anyway, we are going to do the Taurus, the 116. In this particular video. There will be a second video where we take the multiple unit for a spin on a snowy day, because this being in the mountain pass, snow is what it is all about. Okay, so we're going to load up EC106 service, which is from Graz to Pres. I am going to really apologise for the pronunciations. Graz to whatever that says there. And we're going to be taking this train from Mürzzuschlag to Wiener Neustadt. Haptenbahnhof. Oh dear, oh dear. And what we'll do is we'll keep the weather on clear so you can get a good look at the route. So EC106, get started. So here we are in the cab of the Taurus at Mürzzuschlag, and we are going to be taking this train up to Wiener Neustadt. And I really do apologise for the pronunciations. And I can hear members of the audience giggling at the way I'm pronouncing this. Wiener Neustadt. There's nothing funny about wieners, I promise. Okay, tree textures loading in. There's a lot of textures to load in, so it did take a little while to come in, but it's looking pretty good. So we're going to get a few outside shots. We're going to get some inside shots, look around the cab, do various bits and bobs. First thing we'll do is get it set up. So reverse a handle in, into neutral. Really liking the way the boot screens come up there. That's really, really nice. I'm definitely a fan of that. Okay, unlocking doors on the left-hand side. And our light control panel is on the back here. So headlights, this vehicle only. I'm not going to enable safety systems, because if I enable CFIR and PZB, what's going to happen is we're going to do some outside shots, and then it's all going to go horribly wrong. Yeah, we'll probably come up in a heap because I missed the CFIR or something, so we're not going to do that. We are going to enable the AFB, which is effectively the cruise control system. I'll show you that as we get going. Okay, so exterior light master switch to on, marker light brightness normal, high beams normal, I think is where we want to be. Sound, train lights, passenger doors left, that is all good. Okie dokie. We've got quite a lot of functionality on the computer screen here. Last time I played with this, I broke it. So I'll try not to do that, but we'll sort of have a look at some of the things we can do on here. So we can see there we're set for Austrian on all the systems. You can, if I can find the right screen, I'm hoping I'm not going to break this and we have to reset it. One of the screens here does let you... There we go. So you can see we're set for OBB, which is the Austrian system, and we can change over, depending on what country we're operating in, we can change over the voltage and the safety systems. So if we were operating in Germany, we could put it on DB. I'm not sure what other countries we've got here, which is really cool. So we press enter on that. That's in OBB. Then it says system OBB there, which is really nice. Okay, lock doors. And this is obviously known as the singing train. So it'd be quite rude not to do an outside pull away shot so we can experience that. Musical trains, absolutely lovely. So I have got absolutely no clue, I'm afraid, when it comes to Austrian signalling. So that's going to be a little bit of reading in order to kind of work out what's going on with that. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to take this train from Mürzzuschlag to Wiener Neustadt, which is the next stop. This is an express service. There is going to be another video out later on today. So this route releases on the April the 18th. So if you're watching this on the day I've released the video, this route will be releasing tomorrow. Otherwise, it releases on April the 18th. So we're going to be taking through the mountain pass, the Austrian Alpine mountain pass, and then we're going to be doing a separate video which will be releasing later today, which is going to be taking us on the multiple unit, and we're going to be doing that in the snow, because being a mountain pass route, it's definitely all about the snow. Okay, speed limit's gone up to 60, so we put our AFB up to 60. It's pretty much going to do it all for us, which is quite nice. Free cam being interesting. Through the point work, then we are up to 80. So if you've got the Vectron, like I said, that will layer onto this route as well. And if you've got the Blackpool branches, the Class 47 from Blackpool branches will also layer onto this route, because 47s were operating in Austria for a while. I believe that layers on as a rail tour service that you can drive, so that'll be quite good. In actual fact, if you are watching this on release day, again, we are going to be live streaming this later on, doing the Class 47 run, so that will be on the channel somewhere, so do check that out. Right, we are good for 80, so let's pop our AFB up to 80. We've got the little SG sign flashing up there. I believe that means we're experiencing wheel slip. When you play this route in the snow, you will get quite a significant amount of wheel slip, because this is very gradient heavy. Just got a little freeze there as it loads in the next tile. 2.3% gradient. It is very, very gradient heavy. You can see sort of the amount of trees and stuff like that going on. Yeah, so it's quite sort of loading in the new section. Lots of foliage. The foliage is really nicely detailed, I think, and really dense, which I like. One of the other things I am liking about this route, and generally Train Sim World 4 standard routes in general, is the new overhead line equipment, the new rendering system that they've got on that. There's no artifacting or anything going on. You can see it off into the distance. It looks quite thick and it looks quite robust. I think it looks nice. Like I say, this is quite easy to drive because we've got the AFB set at the moment, which basically means that the train is just going to regulate its speed to whatever we've set it at. We do need to keep an eye on it though, make sure it doesn't start creeping up too much. If you drive this manually without the AFB on, it's quite a challenging route to drive because of the gradients and some of the speed limit changes further on. But the AFB sort of, they would use that in real life because it helps to maintain time. We also have these coaches, which are now new in game. So, because we've got these coaches and the Tarus, The next thing we need in game is Flixtrain with their lovely green livery with white writing. So I'm pretty sure if you look on Creators Club, you're going to find Flixtrain liveries for this pretty quickly, and you'll be able to use those on almost all sort of German routes. We'll sort of jump ahead and do a nice flyby shot. And again, just looking at the kind of the detail, we've got a station coming up here, so that's the perfect place. Looking at the detail on the hills and stuff, the tree textures, I think it looks really nice. Apologies for the blackout on the screen there, that was me pressing wrong buttons. We'll get another flyby shot in a minute. As she goes off around the corner. So if you're running one of the fast services, like I say, with the AFB on, there's not a lot to do on this route other than sit back and look at the scenery. What we can do though is jump over and have a quick look at the map so we can get sort of a rough idea of where we are and where we're going. So we've come from down here, sort of heading up into the mountains. You can sort of see the proper mountain pass area up here through the Alpines. I believe this is the actual route of the bit that's known as the Semmeringbahn. And it's actually a World Heritage line. And then when we come down the other side of the mountain pass, we kind of got the fast bit of line down to Wiener Neustadt. I am going to keep saying sorry for the pronunciations. And as you can see there, we've got freight layers on here, which is always good. And I should imagine with some of the gradients, I'm not going to do a freight run, but I should imagine with some of the gradients on the route, the freight could be quite challenging to handle. The detail of the foliage on the bank there, the 3D grass, looking really nice. And I do like the textures on the hills as well. See, we've got that new, I think it's LiDAR, I believe it's called, or something like that, the terrain mapping system, which gives us these sort of really nice contours on the hillside. Again, we've seen that in Vorarlberg, and we saw that in the Antelope Valley as well. So we've got a 65 restriction coming up. Again, I'm not entirely sure what these signals mean. That's going to be a little bit of reading for me. So green with... I should imagine we're expecting something to be red, or that can be interpreted as a cautionary signal. Could be because of the upcoming speed limit change. So we could have just put the AFB down to 65, but we'll make it a little bit more interesting and attempt to drive the train ourselves. Saying that, I've just put the AFB down to 65. And then a 40 coming up as well. Let's see what the lighting levels are like in the tunnel. I think we've got our gauge lights turned on. Something was beeping at us then, like a horn. I'm not entirely sure what that was. Yeah, the lighting level in the tunnel looks quite nice. And I'm liking the kind of brickwork and the detailing and the troughing on the sides. And there is light at the end of the tunnel. The light at the end of the tunnel has been switched off due to budget cuts. We've got that 40 coming up just there, so I'm just putting in a bit of brake in. What I'll do is I'll get it down to 40 and then I'll set the AFB back down to 40. And you can see we're just coming up to this yard here, just sort of entering the mountain pass proper, as it were. Okay, that looks red to me. Like I say, I'm not too au fait with the Austrian signal, so we'll stop at that. No, that's for the line on the right. Okay. That does gives us an opportunity, though, to hear the motors from inside the train, so that's not too much of a problem, providing we can get it going again. So I've set my brakes to release, and there is a brake release button up here. There we go. We could hear those lovely sounds from inside the train. I do like the coaching stock as well. That's very similar to the DB Intercity coaching stock that you run with the DB Intercity. You run with the class 101. Okay, we're back up to 50. See, one of the things that I think we are missing at the moment in game is continental steam. So I say continental, German or Austrian steam, anything like that, Henschler and Sun locomotives. I think that would be a really nice addition to some of these mountain pass routes. This one in particular, again, pronunciations, Turan de Rampa, I think it's called. Would be one of the other ones it'd be quite well suited to. Okay, so the AFB is not reducing the speed as much as I thought it would do coming downhill. So we do kind of need to keep an eye on the speed. That's interesting. I thought the AFB would kind of take over and monitor that all the way down. This is a pretty decent length route, this. So the fast trains take about an hour to complete the journey. The stopping trains are around an hour and 20 minutes for the full length. It is 68 kilometres, so it's a pretty decent length route. We have got the dynamic brake that we can make use of. Could just drop a bit of dynamic brake in to try and trim that speed off, rather than keep using the air brake. I am pretty impressed with the scenery so far. Credit given where due. We'll just back that. Yeah, I should imagine... Oh, look at that. Wow. I should imagine running heavy freight down here certainly could be a bit of a challenge. Not very good with the old cameras here. Okay, line speed going up to 60. And we'll take the electric brake into release. Just let the train take the strain. Don't want to let it run away too quickly though, because it will take a few seconds for the dynamic or electric brake, the rheostatic brake, to start acting. So if we let it run away too much, the brake won't start acting in time. Got a little bit of flange score going on the corners there, which is nice. Sound-wise, this seems to be pretty good. I am a fan of the way the Tarus sounds. I've not had the pleasure of riding on one, but I've spotted and filmed a fair few when I've been over in Germany, and they're musical. I think I said singing locomotive before, but I think musical locomotive is probably a good way of saying it. Good additional sounds when we open the window there. That's some impressive engineering. Yeah, I am very interested to see what this is going to look like covered in snow. So at the time of recording this video, I haven't done the snow run yet. That's going to be a treat for me to see as well. With the window open there, you can properly hear that locomotive singing. The dynamic braking. Yeah, I think this route definitely lends itself to rail tours and steam. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some sort of German steam add-on, or European steam add-on, I should say. So I think running this with the multiple unit, the OBB 4024, I can't remember what that multiple unit's called, but with the amount of stations and the kind of gradients and speed limit changes, I reckon that would be a really good drive. Not my red. We've done enough kind of panicked stopping today. .9% downhill gradient. We'll just let the gradient take us. And of course at the moment I've got the dynamic weather turned off. I'm keeping it clear so you can preview the route. The architecture on the inside of the tunnel there. That's kind of like a snow ship or something on a mountain. There we go. Superb. Stuff. Okay, so the AFB is now using the dynamic brake and bringing our speed down. I've just got to have faith in the system. Just got to have faith in it. That is holding us nicely. We get a good vantage point for a nice flyby shot as she comes around the corner there. Again, the density of the foliage and the quality of the foliage is actually really impressive. This is definitely one of those routes where I am actually quite happy just to sit back and look at the scenery, because it genuinely does look very nice and very well done. It's very pleasing on the eye. It's worth pointing out as well though, it says at the top left there we've got 33 kilometres to our destination. That 33 kilometres is as the crow flies, not track mileage. So all the time we're winding round like this, it's not entirely accurate. So that's worth remembering. I keep jumping out because I'm afraid we're just missing some of this fantastic infrastructure. Yes, I'm looking forward to bringing the 47 along this route. That doesn't have any speed set or anything, so that's going to be an interesting drive. Hopefully you can join me for the live stream when we do that one. So I think going forward, we've spoken about, lots of people have spoken about the fact they want different countries in the game. I think one of the countries I would like to see is Italy. Some of the Trenitalia locomotives and units I think would be really nice along the Mediterranean coast. I forget the name of the line. Is it the Adelphi coast or something like that? Or down on the Mediterranean coast, I think would be a really, really nice line to do with Trenitalia. Okay, interestingly, the AFB at this point isn't accelerating the train, it's only acting on brakes. So let's take the throttle off and then back on. We'll just keep the throttle in max. We are good for 70 now, as denoted by the red writing on the white background. Okay, yeah, it's acting on dynamic brake as well. Okay, let's increase the AFB to 70. The other Taurus going past. I'm liking the sound as we go into the tunnel as well. The engines get, the motor noise and the run noises get louder, which is what you would expect. I think in general, Train Sim World, Dovetail Games and the third-party devs have really upped their game when it comes to sound. I know it's been a gripe of the community for a long time, is substandard sounds, and they do really seem to be getting their act together with that. So we can have a quick look on the map and sort of see where we're at. So it's sort of about halfway around the mountain pass section at the moment. So it's sort of dropping down the other side. Then we've got this nice fast section up to Wiener Neustadt. I've had to write this down. Wiener Neustadt. I think I need an AI assistant to do the pronunciations for me. Right, we've got the 60 coming up on the mini-map, on the HUD at the top right, so we'll wait till we get a bit closer. We'll try just putting the AFB down to 60 and see if it sorts itself out. I think this is going to be a really good route with dynamic weather. I wonder, as you climb up higher, whether you sort of go through the fog. Quite often when you're driving up mountains, I've never driven up a mountain in a train, but in a car, you're sort of below the clouds and you drive through the clouds and you're above them. I sort of wonder if that effect will be present when you've got dynamic weather turned on. Yeah, it's brought us down to the 60 quite nicely there. The AFB doing a reasonably good job of holding our speed. Got quite a lot of clutter on the track side. Stuff like the digger there and all the clutter next to the house. I think when a scene is overly clean, it loses that reality and immersion, so having little things just like we've got there with all the clutter and everything, it really does help to kind of sell it. And there is literally infrastructure everywhere on this line. And this is definitely one for me to check out in real life. So as always, I'm always really interested to hear your thoughts and comments on the route. I know the channel is mainly focused on UK content, being that I'm a UK train driver, but I do, personally, I enjoy driving the German and the Austrian routes because it's something different from the day job. I enjoy learning about the different signalling systems and the different way the railway works. So for me, this sort of route is very good. This is what I like. But yeah, I'm interested to sort of see what you guys think down in the comments section below, so do let me know. And if you are from Austria and you have travelled on this route or these trains in real life, I'd be interested to hear your expert opinion. Is this a good resemblance? Does the train look and sound right? From my experience with Tarus, it sounds pretty good. But yeah, do let me know. We are always open to discussion. So whilst we're winding our way down the mountain, we'll have a quick look round the driving cab. So you've got your LZ, your horn buttons over there, emergency stop buttons, air compressor automatic, traction motor fans, PZB, LZB buttons as you'd expect, pantograph main circuit breaker, train line, your GSMR radio, no functionality on there at all. You've got your announcement system, and then your basic controls along the bottom here. Reading lights, exterior lights, headlights, brake release. It's a pretty sort of standard cab layout for German, Austrian locomotives. Most of them are kind of this blue dashboard colour, the sort of control levers. It's a pretty sort of standard layout. So we have had a quick look at the screen here. I'm not going to go too much into that because it's all in German and I don't understand German or Austrian even. Same thing, possibly the same thing. And the only thing I think we can do with the screen here is just change it between... Oh, we've got some brightness control on there. To the extent where we can actually turn it off. But like I say, the ability on here to be able to change over between the systems, it potentially paves the way for a route where you go from Germany onto Austria and you have to change the power systems and signaling systems over, or even sort of other cross-border services, which would be really nice to see. What we can do, because I don't have safety systems turned on, we've got snow-capped mountains up there. Let's hang about and see that. We certainly have. Yeah, definitely liking the look of the mountains and the terrain. I am most definitely a fan of that. So we'll have a quick look around, continue our look around the cab. You've got your signal lights on the back panel there, your parking brake. Door mode you can change between OBB and DB. I'm not sure what effect that would actually have. Oh, we got quite a cant on the track as we go around there. Battery switch, various other bits and bobs. We can also, similar to some of the other German locomotives we've got in game, we can go into the engine room. Only very sort of limited functionality. We've got our safety system panel up here with your LZB and PZB. Then obviously our tucked away cab. We will have a look through the wagons at some point as well, the coaches, sorry. And there's one of the multiple units that we're going to be driving later on. And you can sort of tell we're coming off the mountain pass now. We're sort of heading along the home straight soon. Yeah, so I think so far a fairly decent length route, and I think a very good level of detail. I'm so far so good. Yeah, this seems to be a pretty good solid route. I think because when I look at UK routes, I'm a lot more experienced with how they should look and how they should sound. So I think I tend to look at European and American routes through a different lens almost. So I'm sort of looking at this not as a train driver, but I'm looking at this as a player of the game through a different lens, as it were. And yeah, I definitely like what I see. I thought I had the dynamic weather turned off, but I could be wrong. Looks like we're picking up a bit of volumetric fog. Yes, you can see we're still 30 kilometres away from Wiener Neustadt. 29. Yeah, like I said, that is as the crow flies, not track mileage, which is a little bit frustrating sometimes. Just bringing it down for that 70. Yeah, so making full use of the AFB speed set there. You could of course drive this in manual mode if you wanted to. It would be a challenging driving manual. I think the reason AFB is used is because it's easier for the train to keep time, whereas the AFB is going to keep it to exactly 70. If I was a human driving this, I'm probably going to, brake down to about 60, 65, let it accelerate to 70, brake down again, 60, 65, let it accelerate. So the AFB maintains a smoother ride for the passengers, maintains a more constant speed, which means it's a lot more efficient. Definitely starting to come down now. We can see we've got an 80 coming up and then 150. So we're gonna get a little bit of speed out the Taurus as well. And the maximum speed we're permitted without in-cab signalling is 160 kilometers an hour, and this route doesn't feature any in-cab signalling sections. So there we are, clear up to 80. Let's let the back of the train clear that point. And we're going to let the AFB do all the work. And we're sort of joining onto the main line here. So we've just taken the mountain pass route, but there is a main line, more direct route. It's not featured in game, unfortunately. And there we can see our 150 indicator. Looks like we're going to overtake a freight train. I don't have the Vectron installed at the moment, but I believe if you do have the Vectron installed, then some of these services you're seeing will be Vectron hauled. It won't just be the Tarus everywhere. Right, we'll set that for 150. Let's get going. It's a really nice scene. See if we can jump ahead and do a flyby shot. So approaching 150, we've got 25 kilometres to our destination. We are pretty much dead straight now, so at 150 kilometres an hour, that is going to come down pretty quick. I'll let you do the maths. 150 in an hour would be 75 in half an hour, be 30 in 50. Yes, about 15 minutes-ish maybe. We're going up to 160 in a second anyway. We jump out onto the map, you can see we are now a pretty much straight run all the way down to our destination. And I am told that Wiener Neustadt, where we terminate, is apparently the busiest station in Austria. So hopefully in time we're going to get more Austrian rolling stock, and then we'll get additional layers onto the route. Getting a little bit of stuttering as it sort of loads in the next tiles, but nothing too bad. The performance has been. I've had a couple of occasions when I've had a sort of micro stuttering as it's been loading in the next few tiles, but generally speaking, performance has been pretty solid. And there's our 160 board just coming up. Hopefully. We're looking for the red board white writing, or white board red writing with a 1.6 in it. And just like the German stuff, it's times by 10. And 160 is our maximum permitted speed. Maximum permitted speed without in-cab signalling. So the Tarus is rated for 230 kilometres an hour. However, with line-side signals, 160 is the maximum. Definitely a lot more trains about now we've joined the main line. Which I guess is pretty stereotypical, that's what we would expect to see. And if we close the window up, it gets all nice and quiet inside again. Makes a very big difference to the sound. And just 15 kilometres to go. One of the things, and I've mentioned this in quite a few videos, I'm really looking forward to getting the new suspension physics fully implemented in game. I believe, looking at the effect on Blackpool branches on the pacer, how much more immersion that adds, that's something I'm definitely really looking forward to getting into game. If you just heard some beeping then, that wasn't the train or the game. That was my son setting off the smoke detector in the kitchen because he's cooking something that smells very fishy. So, if you didn't hear it, then I've done a good job of editing it out. Right, so we have got a neutral section coming up now. So I don't know how the train's going to react, whether we're going to have to manually shut back power. We will find out whether the power's going to come back in. No, it looks like it's done it itself. And we're just at 11 kilometres now to our destination. I quite like this access road running along next to the railway line on either side. And we'll try and race the train and get a flyby shot up at the next station. So there are, obviously, like I said, we've got the multiple unit, the OBB 4024 multiple unit on here. If you're driving that, then you have got the timetable services on here that stop at these stations, so you can run the stopping services as well. And now this is where we're going to have to be a little bit careful coming down towards Wiener Neustadt. Just going to say sorry, because obviously, like I said earlier, I don't really have much of a clue as to what the Austrian signals mean. And I've got the signal indications turned off in my HUD. That's how I drive it when I drive UK routes. So I probably should have turned that back on again to give myself a fighting chance. So hopefully we're not going to spad before we get to the end of the route. Giving it some horn action there because, you know, why not? So we can get a close up on the OBB 150. Really nice detail on the side of the train on the bogies there. Even underneath the train, it looks. That's good. That is attention to detail right there. I'm pretty impressed with that. Genuinely. Yeah, nice. Okay, there's 150 and then 100 coming up. So let's start getting down. We'll bring it down to 125. That should give us plenty of time to come down for the 100. So one of the things I have noticed on this, there's no Ebula system, which is the sort of moving map GPS thing that German trains have. I don't know whether it's common in Austria, but we do have this sort of clipboards here. I wonder if this would be like a clipboard or almost like an iPad holder as well. So maybe they have that sort of an app, and they have the Ebula on like an iPad or something. Or maybe Ebula's not a thing in Austria. Maybe I'm completely wrong. So if you do know, I'd be very interested to find out. So the triangle sign that we've just seen is the warning for a speed. And the square sign is the commencement of the speed. Okay, and that is green. If that's anything like the German signals, that is green, and we're expecting the next signal to be at danger. So, risk of having a spad. I'm just going to take a lot of speed out of the train until we can confirm what the next signal is. Well, it's going to be a stop signal because this is our destination. We've made it already. Loving the complexity of the overhead line equipment there, the OLE. And like I said at the beginning of the stream, it looks really robust and really well modelled.
Türfreigabe. Türfreigabe. Türfreigabe.
Yeah, and I know I've completely and utterly buggered this up. This is not doing what I want it to do at all. Come on, power, power, power. Objective complete. It's not complete. The back of the train's hanging out the platform. It's because I'm incompetent and pressed the wrong button. We can at least pull the train down to the where we're supposed to be stopping at the end of the platform. That's my fault for playing with the AFB. Just talk amongst yourselves while we coast down to the bottom here. Well, hey! Right, will I get those doors open now? Okay, while those doors are open and before it boots us out the game, I just want to go and have a quick look at the carriages because I haven't done that yet, and I'm quite interested to see what they look like. Okay, we got compartments. Litter bins. Struggling to get through the door there. The click area is quite small. Have we got toilets? That is the no. We can open the doors on the wrong side. That's is the whole train compartments, or has it got like a second class compartments? Yeah. Can we enter the compartments? That's the last thing to check, I think. We absolutely can. Very nice too, very nice too. Right, let's exit the train. We don't have working escalators. Since Suffragette Line, Goblin, London Overground, we have come to expect working escalators. And we don't have them. Right, let's wrap this one up. Let's get the doors closed. What about elevators? Oh, no working elevators either. Never mind, never mind. Let's get the doors closed and check what our score was and wrap this up. So I like this route. I think it looks really nicely modelled. The Taurus is a nice train to drive. I love the way it sounds. And it's really good to have more Austrian stuff in the game. Let's press lock doors. What have we got? Objective complete. Don't forget, if you have liked this video, then please do hit that like button. Consider subscribing. That would be absolutely awesome. We've got a gold, so we can't get a platinum because we didn't have the safety systems turned on. But you can see the advantage of using the AFB when you look at, you know, how close you are to the limit in all these places. You know, it just follows it perfectly, which is the real advantage using the AFB. There we go, guys. So do let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know what you thought of the route. Really interested to hear that down in the comment section below. So I am now going to jump into the... It's going to be a separate video, but I'm going to jump into the multiple unit, the OBB 4024, and do the mountain pass in the snow, which I'm certainly looking forward to doing. And we are going to be taking the Class 47 for a spin over this route, the BR British Railways Class 47, in a live stream. So if you're watching this video on the day it comes out, keep an eye out for that. And if you're watching this video at some point in the future, hello from the past, that video will already be available on the channel, so do go and check that out. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I hope to see you in another stream or video very soon. Bye for now.